Okay, I think we're ready to go.
Rob McQuilkin is coming in.
Okay, and I saw that Josh is on, so I think we're good. At this point, I'd like to call the November 18th, 2021 meeting of the Board of Architectural Review to order. I'd like to welcome everyone. And our first applicant this evening is the Walensky's at 92 Pine Hill Road, who are seeking to install some driveway lanterns and canopies. Mr. Walensky, would you like to present your proposal?
Sure. Let me just see. I can't see myself. There we go. Okay. I'm not sure if you had the time to read the PDF that I sent to John.
Yes, we have
okay.
distributed it.
Okay. So basically, there are two projects. One would be street lanterns along the edge of the driveway, merely just for extra lighting because it is a long driveway and it's kind of dark. And also, I think it would look very nice. So these are 19th century style lanterns that look like the old cast iron ones that you would see along the street, not quite as large. So I would like to put 6 or 8. We haven't decided how many should go on the driveway. And that would be project number 1. Project number 2 are the canopies. So the way the house was built, there is no protection at all from rain or snow. So if you're standing at the front door and it's raining and you're waiting for someone to answer it, you're getting soaked. So we thought, okay, so we could put a nice canopy over the front door for rain and also for packages and for mail. And then on the side of the house, we have a 3-car garage. And we were thinking of putting a canopy over the center garage door. And that would be for a similar reason, primarily for packages that would be out of the rain. And both canopies are being designed by a very fine blacksmith who has done a lot of work for many years across the country. And I included his website so you could see his work, beautiful work. He came here to the house, did all the measurements, and he will create something out of iron with a glass top on each one that will match the iron work that's already on the house.
Okay, in my view, those are beautiful. In any event, we'll see what others have to say. We did notice the neighbors. Is that correct, John?
Yes, we did notice the neighbors. I did receive a response from the Cohens down the street that they had no issue with any of the proposal.
And then we also, he's not present this evening, but we received the technical review comments from MHD Engineering. I don't know if you've had a chance to review those and give your responses to them.
I did review them. The one thing that stood out to me was, unfortunately, my Photoshop skills are not as good as they should be. And I tried to show what they would look like, but didn't quite match up with the drawings, the technical drawings of the blacksmith. So that was my fault, that they didn't look the same. And how the iron would be attached to the house and how it would look on the house wasn't quite as accurate as I would have liked it to be. The second thing I believe he brought up was the snow load, which is something that I honestly cannot speak to. My only question, my only comment would be is that the blacksmith has done this sort of work his whole life and has built many of these canopies, and therefore I believe he is qualified to judge that because he works in this area and he's built them, and I have to assume that he understands the snow load, but I can't speak to that directly. I'm not an engineer. And as far as the lanterns are concerned, that also was a similar issue as I tried to Photoshop them into the pictures of the house and the property so people would understand a little bit of how they would look. And yes, probably my placement was a little bit off simply because of, again, lack of skills. And so that's also something that I would address and be more accurate and show exactly where they would go and how they would look. And I think he also brought up maybe the finish and the glass. So we do have a lot of lanterns on the house and on pillars near the house. And I would definitely go back and match the finish of those to the new lanterns as well, and the glass as well. I would want them all to match.
And the website, the engineer said, states that they're cast iron, but I mean,
Yes.
aluminum, but
They're-
I think you represented their cast iron. Do you want
Yes, that was a mistake on my part. I did not read the description carefully enough, and they look like the cast iron ones you would see in the 19th century, but these are made out of aluminum.
And then you spoke to old German white bulbs and candelabra style frosted bulbs. And what about the glass? I mean, I'm not sure I could tell exactly what you're planning to.
So the glass that I was considering was the sort of antique handmade, with the air bubbles in it. And that picture that they have on the website poorly represents that kind of glass, unfortunately. But I was looking for something that would look of the time and period that the lantern style is made in. And the bulbs inside would be LED candelabra bulbs, and I think they're 650 lumen. I think I put that in the PDF. And they would be frosted as well.
Yeah, so my understanding is 650 lumen would equate to 40 to 60 watt bulbs.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so I was just seeing what else. Okay, so that's what he said on the and on the canopies. I see he talked more about, how they were going to be attached and their size and whatever. No variances are required here for the proposed height of the lamppost you're providing, and neither would the canopies require any kind of variance. Do the members of the bar have any questions or comments based on what we've been providing?
Yes, this is Christopher Gow. Let's see, how can I put this? The style of the house is sort of Normandy French rustic, and with the beautiful weather vane and lots of various lovely details. These embellishments that you're planning to add are more sort of Champs-Élysées, sort of Paris, town rather than country. There are already some, some more sort of urban elements, sort of town elements on the property. But these very ornate grills above the garage door and the front door is one thing. Adding on to that, these sort of Parisian street lampposts sort of jolts the whole vibe of the house into something else, and it's sort of like, I'm trying to think, less is more. That adding all these details is going to detract from what you've already got, the beauty that you've already got. It's going to make it over, in my opinion, it's going to make it overkill. So my only thought would be to be a little bit less ornate with the wrought ironwork. A little bit simpler,
Right.
And then with the lampposts, they seem so, I don't know, it's again, it's my opinion, but they just seem so predictable, and so they detract, in my opinion. That they take away from. Again, it's too much. It's too much. It's getting too. So if they were, I mean, the two at the entrance, the two existing ones, so solid and masculine, and add a little bit of gravitas to the project, making adding too many others, in my opinion, it spoils it.
I'm just curious, Christopher, would you have a suggestion as to what would be appropriate for the driveway to give it more light?
I would have lights that are subdued, that are invisible, so that you just have the light, and then
Right.
you have this magical effect of coming up the driveway with enough. I mean, most people will be driving as opposed to walking, so.
Right.
But so it's subdued, but there's this wonderful, coming up this path, and there's a reveal of the house,
Uh-huh.
instead of the driveway being lit up like this is the runway, this is the road, this is
Mhm.
what you're driving on, and you're on a so you're sort of highlighting the road, or the driveway,
Right.
as opposed to the house. So and that's and obviously the house is what you want to highlight. So
So I'm sorry, do you think something more like a hidden low voltage lighting along the driveway where you don't really see them?
exactly, yeah, because the
Uh-huh.
shrubbery is lovely, the rock work's lovely, the
Mhm.
house is lovely, so that it's there. You can it provides the security, the safety, and comfort and
Mm.
direction.
Right.
But it is not. The house has such strong character already that
Mhm.
adding this element, it's not synergistic. It's the opposite of it. It's
Right.
detracting from each other. So that's my thoughts on the.
Okay, it's a good, I'm glad that I've got another opinion, and I will go back and look into something more subtle then. Mhm.
I would say I like the grill work you're proposing. But I do agree with Christopher on
Okay.
that the lighting may be a little excessive.
Right, sure, sure.
Anyone else?
I concur on the lighting. The canopy, I mean, I think it's more of a stylistic choice, and I don't think it actually looks that bad. But on the lighting, I would definitely agree.
Okay, very good.
I concur with Christopher. I think one of the strongest moments in the whole property are the opening lanterns on that very gorgeous stonework with the heavy, strong coping stones.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't want to see those get sort of upstaged by the more Parisian tall lanterns. So I think something small downlighting that sort of just covers the road
Mhm.
driveway makes a lot of sense. I will say this regarding the snow load.
Yes.
Every year now we've got a major storm event. We've got 100-year storm events are now every 18 months, every 24 months. And just last year, for example, we got at one point 26 inches of heavy wet snow.
Mhm.
And I'm just looking, and I'm not an engineer either, Mr. Walensky, but I was looking at some of the drawings that you showed.
Yes.
Just can't imagine what the physics are of that holding up a serious heavy load of snow that comes down, as rapidly as these storm events are now providing.
Right.
Something to be aware of. There was one that was much deeper than the other. Yeah, that one there looks like I don't know how you would support that.
Are we talking about the garage or the front door?
The one that's on the screen now, the garage door
Okay.
canopy.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that on my screen, but
That
oh, I
seems-
see it now. Okay. Yeah, that would be over the garage door, correct? And again, I haven't spoken to the blacksmith about snow load, but I can, and I can also have an engineer review it. That would make probably the most sense.
I mean, to Christopher's point also, and I know there's differing opinions about the appropriateness of these canopies, these awnings or not. But a simpler design might also have the additional benefit of being more stable. I don't know that it's a question of having it be less deep. That one there looks like it's at least 6 feet deep.
It's 5 feet deep. That's what the blacksmith explained to me, that the most he can do is 5 feet from the house unless he has some other kind of support. If we're only using those side supports, he said 5 feet is the maximum that he can do.
Yeah. And I guess my feeling is that might have been the maximum over the last 30 years, and it may very quickly prove to be in excess of what is sustainable. But
right. I can definitely go over that with an engineer, with the blacksmith, and maybe we can make the the brackets sturdier and maybe even a little bit longer to make for that snow problem.
Yeah, yeah, that might be helpful.
So that with this strapping, longer strapping coming down would
Mhm.
be much more one would expect with this type of architecture.
Uh-huh.
Less fine, less delicate, less
Right.
and I think that you know, butching it up a little bit more masculine, I think
Okay.
would be much more effective, safer and appropriate. Yeah.
Right. Okay, very good. I can go over with the blacksmith with these ideas for sure. Yeah.
Mhm. Well, we don't oppose your idea of lighting your property for safety or providing canopies, and we hope to see you again with some more tweaks. We hope this has been helpful.
Yes, it has been.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Welcome.
Nice meeting you all. Bye-bye.
Good evening.
Our second applicants are the Nicholsons on 25 Mountain Farm Road. We're proposing a new pool and pool house. Would you or your consultants like to show us your presentation on your application?
Yes, hi, my name's Dan Sherman, and I'm here also with Jeffrey Small, and the Nicholsons are here. Carol Ann and Al Alexander Nicholson at 25 Mountain Farm Road. I can share my screen with and go through my pictures unless John wants to do it, but I have them kind of organized.
It might be better if you open it this way you can point to the points that you're discussing.
If I can do it. All
There
right.
you go.
Let me move you guys over here. So we did read the comments. We got them on the 12th of November from Andrew Warren from MEH Engineers. And so we've addressed most of them. There are a few that are related to an engineer about pipe sizes and some technical things that we didn't address, but they're not aesthetic things, but the grading and the trees. So let me show you the site plan. I also have I think you've already seen the rendered things done with the SketchUp program and also the site photos. So first I'll show you the plan. And this is the updated one. The style of everything's the same. Really, it just clarifies some of the tree removals and the grading and a little more detailing on the bridge. So let me enlarge it a little bit. Are you able to see this?
Yep.
Yes.
Let me move you guys. You're right in my way. So we did need to clarify the grading. I knew what I meant, but I hadn't really connected all the contours according to Andrew's comments. So we've done that and we're more clear on which trees would have to come out. The setting of this pool, this 18 by 40 foot pool, in-ground concrete pool, is in this clearing. It will be a clearing, but in a woodland that's just off the landscaped part of the property. Perhaps you visited the site. It's kind of unusual landscape because you can see deep into the woods and there's these glacially dropped boulders and rocks everywhere and rock outcroppings. We've had the survey done, but the exact location of the one rock outcropping that I'm hoping to be a backdrop to the patio is really exactly hard to pinpoint where it is. I measured it myself and I think I'm right. I measured it from the swale, but it wasn't real clear on the survey. So that's why the rendering didn't make it look, we made it look the way I want it to look. And I think that it will, but it's not real clear on the survey. So we want the setting to remain mossy and rocky and trees all around. And then in it will be this rectangular pool with a little pool house cabana that will be similar and mimic the look of the garage and the office studio and the house itself with its interesting shingles and roofs and colors and details. It will have an open porch. Well, I'll let Jeffrey go over that, but the pool itself, like I said, is a 18 by 40 foot rectangle. It has a bluestone coping, Pennsylvania bluestone, and the patio around it, I'll have to bring a sample up for you to see for the next meeting, but it's going to be a medium gray porcelain that will look similar to bluestone, and I just got a sample today that did look very much like bluestone. It was called Forge is the name of that, but I haven't shown that to Alexander or Carol Ann, so I would not call that approved yet till they see it. But it's a nice looking porcelain. And then the bridge is something that we're still detailing. It's 2 feet above that swale is all it is. So there'll be 3 steps up, then you walk along and then you go up another 3 steps to get to the gate, which is flush with the pool level. We have a retaining wall because in order to get this pool area level, we need to smooth out about 5 feet of grade change from the far back to the front. So we're scraping into the slope in the back, and that's where I'm hoping, and I believe that I will be able to expose more of that ledge rock. And then we have a little wall in front that will match the wall that's near the driveway with sort of local stone, a rustic looking wall without a bluestone cap, and it will have a fence on it that will look like, I hope we have a picture here. I think that's on the other page. But it's a very open and sheer sort of fence, a black metal frame. I'll show you in a minute on the other pictures, with a mesh kind of in black metal, so that black wire mesh, so that it's very transparent and kind of clean. It's not rustic, but this is what we wanted to have in this site. I'm going to flip then to the views, which are done in SketchUp, and it's not a photorealistic modeling tool, but it's a very versatile one that we use because it's easy to modify, and it's drawn to actual feet and inches, so it's at least accurate in the dimensions of everything. So let me move you over here in the way again. The one on the upper right shows the existing garage, and which is also an office studio, and the little island and the existing wall by the driveway. And you see this pool cabana up in the edge where the woods are, up in the upper right, left of the picture. The one on the upper right, similar, retaining the look of the forest all around, but we obviously have to open up the woods where the pool will be. And you can start to see what the fence looks like. And as I scroll this down, that's the fence that we picked. Kind of a very clean looking thing. And there's the pool house looking from the back. The pool filter will be hidden around the back of the pool house. The whole pool is within 300 or more feet from any property line. No one will be able to see this unless they enter the Nicholson's driveway. There's an existing rocky swale that will remain. And then we have this little footbridge, which we're detailing still, whether it's an actual slab of stone or it's made with that corrugated metal with concrete poured on it with stone on it. That's probably the way it will be because it stretches about 6 feet in length. It's 4 feet, I think it's 3 feet wide, but there'll be more detail on that coming up. And it will probably need a handrail. It's only 2 feet above the ground, but still it's going over kind of a rocky, dry swale. So we'll talk about that with the Nicholsons. So that's the look of it. Rectangular pool, a little on the slim side, right in the edge of this woods that's so vast. When you look off, you don't see anything but trees and rocks. Can I show you the existing photos? Is the board familiar with the site? All right.
That would be good.
Okay, that's this panel. Everybody's so quiet. So in Scarsdale, they interrupt me.
We're listening.
Okay, good. I don't know if I should enlarge these. Let me, hey, wait a minute here. Everyone's so patient here. Wait a second. I guess that's better, but I've lost my control panel. You see the swale on this upper left one? The site for the pool is right up here on the right of that picture on the upper left, and off to the house and the driveway on the left. Did I say the right thing? And then the photo on the upper right is looking from the driveway. So the pool would be right up in that area that will be more of an open clearing. But we're not, this little wall you see at the top of the slope is the edge of where that swale is. So you'd walk up the grass slope and over the little footbridge and there's the pool in there. This one in the center left is looking at the lawn, and the pool would be just in the woods on the left. There's the existing garage. The one in the center right is what it looks like in these woods, very open into the distance. It's all moss and kind of a licheny fern and these little rocks. It's a very unusual look site. And the picture on the lower right shows that rocky swale. I think I have shown you. I don't know how to get rid of that picture. Well, so that's all I had to say. And Jeffrey, do you want to jump in?
Sure. Hello, I'm Jeffrey Small, the architect on the project for the pool house. If I may, I'll share my screen and.
Okay, I will stop sharing. There. Oh, I have to. Go ahead.
Okay. Let's see here. So this is the floor plan. Can everyone see this?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. The floor plan consists of a large open porch here on the left, with then a small outdoor kitchen here. And then inside is a little bathroom and a little changing room with some storage here. And there's an outdoor shower right there. This area here this is where the pool is, the gate, and then the paving just flows from the pool terrace into the porch.
And not to outdo Scarsdale, but I will interrupt in the sense that I understand that you will be needing a variance.
Yes.
Because you're exceeding, the deck and porch coverage is exceeding 25% of the ground floor area.
That's
So,
correct.
okay.
So as our workflow, as I understand it, will be that after this meeting, we'll appear before the BZA, and then should that be successful, we'll come back to you and for final approval, hopefully. And then the roof plan this is the roof plan. It's just a simple hip to roof with a little flare on the roof. The detailing and the form of the buildings, the detailing and the materials all match the existing buildings on the site. And I'll show you some pictures. But this is the elevation from the pool, showing the open porch and the shower. And the porch has a kind of a tall ceiling there. This is the elevation from the porch looking towards the door and the little kitchen. It's the side, the back, and then some sections through the building, another section through the porch. And then the electrical plan. There'll be a light here, and then 2 ceiling fans with lights, which will be above the eaves, because they'll be supported by the collar ties here, but they'll be high up, so they won't really be in view, although this light will be. So this is a view of the main house, and these are the 2 adjacent buildings adjacent to the new pool house, 2 garages, and again the form of the garage in terms of its roof pitch and shape are all inspired by these buildings, as well as the detailing and the materials. So the foundation wall for the new pool house will match the garages with which it's a granite material. The shingles will also match with the 10-inch exposure and the little kind of half-inch reveal here. And then the doors and windows will match as well, both in terms of design and color. And then the post detailing will be the same as well. And the eave detailing with the open eaves will match. Some more images of what we're going to match. This is an existing light fixture which will match on the pool house. And that's pretty much it.
The last thing I would say before we
Yes.
open it up to our members to comment is that we did request any comments from the neighbors. And as I understand it, John Julia Simmet is your neighbor, and she supports your application and wishes you well. Is that correct, John? Yeah, John's on mute. Yes. And she's a former member of the bar and
Yeah, my apologies. Yes, I did receive an email from Julia Simmet and her husband. They support the project.
do any of the bar members have any questions or comments at this point?
I think, yeah, it looks it looks great, very elegant in its simplicity, and I think it'll blend right in. It looks very nice indeed. I'm glad that it's located up there because that swale is dry. There's not a lot of water that goes along that swale. Is that correct?
No.
The only other point that I have is we're very sensitive when any trees are removed. So in your plan, it would be great that there's we always encourage any tree that's removed to be replaced. And so you'd have this wonderful opportunity to replace them with some ideally native trees that will add to the color, like tupelo or dogwoods or cherry. That will have, especially the tupelo tree, would have beautiful coloring round about now, and it's good for us visually, and good for the birds and insects, as they are native. So that would be something that would be a very would round off this project beautifully.
And to that end, we would suggest you provide a separate landscaping plan that shows what you plan to remove and what you plan to install, so that we can see it all in one place. Next.
I can have that out shortly after I review it with the Nicholsons.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. Very handsome plan. The building is lovely. The siding makes good sense, and it all coheres. So it looks good to me.
Any other comments?
One last comment. What does Maddie think of it? Is she excited?
Yep, she is. We look forward to it. Hope we can get it done before next summer. That's the.
She loves to swim, so
Oh, perfect.
that'd be a dream for her.
Oh, that's great. Excellent.
Well, we thank you for sharing it in such detail so early in the plan. It looks like an exciting project. And we look forward to seeing you back.
Great.
Right,
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jeffrey.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Nice.
Thanks.
Okay, those are our two applications for this evening. And before we turn to approve the minutes, I just wanted to let my board know of a few updates with regard to some board action that's been taken and some processes that are underway. The mayor's on, he's welcome to add if you'd like. So that in case you haven't been following everything that's been going on that is related to the bar. The first thing is the local law adjustment to the site plan to look at how we may be able to share some of the technical, non-aesthetic parts of the site plan process with the planning board is being reviewed by the planning board and has been in an ongoing discussion. And that's continuing. Well, also, there's been a moratorium put on the engineering fees at the board meeting until there can be some discussion, and I am planning to pursue the discussion with the mayor as early as tomorrow on that. What was the last thing? Oh, the mayor has asked the planning board and the bar to help draft a survey to be undertaken with respect to receiving applicants' comments, prior applicants' comments with regard to their experience in moving through the approval process. So we will be involved with that. Did I miss anything, Mayor?
No, not at all. I'll just continue some of the things we're saying. The moratorium, first of all, I want this to be a very constructive conversation with the engineering and the architecture firm. But I've looked over a lot of their billings, and what we want to do is make this experience as good as possible for the applicants. One thing that's really irking a lot of the applicants is the bill they receive later, and it creates a lot of angst. For example, the application, by the way, are we recording? We're not in executive session, right?
We are not.
Okay, so an applicant submitted a letter in response to a neighbor that submitted a letter, and that was reviewed by the engineer, and there was $300, $400, $500 bill sent out. somebody had a garage application and the engineer sent out a bill for that. I don't think really that you all are aware of those bills, are you?
Excuse me, just to clarify, you are recording, right? This is not an executive session?
This is not executive session. And yeah, so we should probably have a greater discussion of this in another meeting in executive session. And hopefully by then we can reach some clarification on how the items are billed and.
Right, so I think I'm interested in adjusting the way these bills are, the way the services are requested, as well as approval of those bills, and an awareness, an immediate awareness of the impact that's going to have on the applicant, and the amount of money they're spending, and looking at it that way. I think we can do this fairly quickly. And now to another subject would be the local law, which is who's got jurisdiction over site plans. And I met with the planning board, and Rick Golden drafted up another version of it, which is very good, and you guys should look at it.
I've requested it, and
yeah, it was posted. It's posted last night, but John can send you a copy. But I'm going to want your input as well. And some of the board members think that, since we're doing site plan, maybe there's other things that we can incorporate in this to make any improvements that we think we can. That's why I wanted to get feedback from the applicant. But we haven't really upgraded the village code or design guidelines or procedures in over 15 years. The last time was in 2007. And so what I would ask you to do is think of all of your experiences with your applicants. And for example, Christopher, you just mentioned certain types of trees that you would like to see replace other trees that are removed. That is not in the design guidelines. That would be very helpful if that kind of comment were in the guidelines. There's another example where someone put down white stone on the driveway, white pebbles. And John mentioned to me that the bar would prefer more of an earth tone gravel. And so that should be in the guidelines. So in other words, let's take a holistic approach. Basically everything that we're constantly repeating or saying, those could go in the design guidelines and help up front. But there might be other things that you guys can think of that the applicants could do, or the process could be improved. And so this is a good opportunity to bring those things forward and see if we can't get them in the legislation. And so, that's really what we're looking to do. There's a disconnect between the experience people have and then the bill they get. And, so that's really where a lot of the anxiety is coming from. And, what I'd rather see is, like, for example, tonight's meeting was great. It was positive, and then like somebody's going to receive a bill for something, and it's going, oh my God, that cost me $3,000 to get, that review. So those are the kind of things I'm trying to preserve, and maybe, call, so we can discuss that. I'm meeting with Sheila tomorrow at 3:30 and John. And so if you guys could think about that, that'd be great.
Sounds
Great.
good. Yep.
thank you. Okay, Desiree, we have
Yes.
minutes to approve.
Yes, October
you-
21st, 2021,
What was the date? I'm sorry. November. 20
October 21st. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of October 21st. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting if then nothing, unless anyone has anything else to add. Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for attending.
Thanks, Sheila. Thank you.
Bye-bye.